All right. Well, hello. Good afternoon. Good morning, maybe good evening. I'm Therese, and I am a nurse and a yoga instructor. I'm also a LifeVantage distributor. And I'm here with John Mason tonight. John and I are going to share some information about how you can simplify your path to health. And John is just the most awesome guy. I've been working with him for a little over a year now, and he is a psychologist, right? But now he's
I was a psychotherapist. I'm a life coach now.
life coach now, but
Mhm.
he's been working in the field of mental health for 30 plus years.
32 years. Uh-huh.
And so we're just so thrilled to have him get started and start talking and leading us down this simple path of health. So I'll let you get started, John.
Alrighty. And Teresa's going to be controlling the slideshow. So go ahead and go to the next slide. Yeah. Um, a lot of things have changed in the last 10 to 20 years. We've entered what some people, one of my coaching clients who's a young man who works for Google, actually in the coaching helped him to work for Google, and he's using this phrase the other day, the gig economy. I thought, oh, wow, I haven't heard that one before. But the gig economy is quite a big deal. It's a trend, and you normally hear the word gig when you think about musicians playing gigs. Well, it's a trend in business and in employment where people are coming in and doing more temporary work, uh, sequential temporary work that might be their full-time thing. When they go in and they get work, it's a gig. Some examples of the gig economy are Uber, Airbnb, Facebook, and Amazon. They're doing business differently than the old marketplace business. We're also seeing that in the area of health. Could you go to the next slide, please? And a similar concept. Tonight we're talking about the simple path to health. I like things that are simple. I like things that are simple in my life, everywhere in my life that I can get it. If it gets too complex, it gets stressful. I like simple solutions. When I learned how to play tennis, the instructor showed me how to use the right form, didn't need to use as much energy. When I learned how to play golf, the instructor showed me how to get the right form. I didn't hack the ball anymore. I could get a lot more performance per unit of time if I learned the right way to do things. Nutrigenomics, in my opinion, is similar in that. And if you haven't heard of nutrigenomics before, the definition I found online is it's the study of the effects of food and food constituents on gene expression and how genetic variations affect the nutritional environment. So it's basically how food affects our genes. And what we're talking about tonight is a simple path to health using the power of nutrigenomics. If you go ahead and switch to the next slide, please. In order to understand how this happens, we need to learn a new word called biohacking. I'd never heard that word before until about a year or so ago. You know what it's like to hack a computer. I guess the word hack means unauthorized access to any system or computer. And in a sense, we are getting that access to our cells. Normally, if you just eat food, you're giving your body raw material. But there is a way to take certain ingredients that have been carefully designed that can help us biohack our body. Biohacking means that we're taking control of our own biology. We're optimizing our genetic potential. The right nutrigenomic turns on the right genes, turns off the wrong genes, which helps us to become the best version of ourselves. As I just said, it's the research on how nutrients affect our genes in a positive way versus being hijacked. We already know what that's about. If you go ahead and flip the slide, please. The industry of nutrigenomics is a 500 billion plus industry. It's affecting, it's involving anti-aging remedies, skin care, pet care, energy drinks, weight loss, hair care. Go ahead and switch the slide, please. The remarkable advancement, in my opinion, that's happened in the last 30 years is the development of a product called Protandim. Now, biohacking or nutrigenomics starts with a synergizer, a combination of natural ingredients that synergize together, they work together to activate an NRF2 pathway in the cells. The NRF stands for nuclear respiratory factor 2. It's basically an enzyme that tells the genes in the cells to start fighting antioxidants. The genes know exactly how to do that. They just need a green light to get things going. And when you put these ingredients together and this proprietary form together, it activates that. It's already been scientifically proven to lower oxidative stress by an average 40% in 30 days. If you don't know what oxidative stress is, you may remember from the 90s when we talked a lot about free radical damage. I remember them telling us to eat more blueberries and certain fruits and vegetables. Grapeseed extract was supposed to help with that. And it helped a little bit. But what we're finding with research in Protandim, NRF2 activation, is a much higher leverage. It's thousands of times more powerful than blueberries or grapeseed extract. And if you haven't researched this, it's really important to know that oxidative stress is responsible for over 200 disease processes, not the least of which is diabetes, autoimmune problems like arthritis, heart problems, Alzheimer's, lots and lots of diseases and disorders that stem from oxidative stress. So if you can improve that, if you can reduce the oxidative stress, you give your cells a chance to begin doing the repair work that they need. Oxidative stress plays a huge role in the aging process. So that gives the cells a chance to cellularly repair and rejuvenate. They're actually designed to rejuvenate. There was a study where it's actually increased the median lifespan of mice by 7%. It hasn't been done on humans. Lifespans are a little bit too long, but I have a feeling that they'll probably have a study on that soon. If you go ahead and flip the slide, please.
Just to reiterate that this NRF2 Protandim has been shown to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 100% of the people that were studied in 30 days. And that is something that has been very heavily researched, and there is nothing else on the market right now that can make that claim.
Especially nothing that's natural. And it's important to know that we're not just talking about a product that somebody said something once and we think that what they're telling us is the truth. This has been peer reviewed, meaning a lot of people have looked at the research, they've double checked it by sources that have nothing to do with the actual product itself. In other words, they're not a part of the company that made it. They don't have any investment in trying to prove something. These peer-reviewed journal articles are showing the benefits. There's 26 currently peer-reviewed journal articles on PubMed.gov that support it. And universities such as Ohio State University, Colorado State, Harvard, American Heart Association that have done their own independent research. Media has covered, there's at least seven US patents on it. Media has done several articles on it. ABC Primetime Live did a expose on it, normally trying to disprove a product they actually found that it actually did what they said it did. This is pretty impressive to me. And so activating pathways that change the genetic expression, that activate genetic responses in the cells, can help us reduce oxidative stress through the NRF2 pathway. Now, if we, in a similar way, combine some natural ingredients in a certain way, we can activate the NRF1 pathway. That's another pathway in the cells that activates certain enzymes. And using those ingredients, we can improve the performance of the mitochondrial production. We can actually increase mitochondrial production. Mitochondrial production, that's the powerhouse of the cells. That's the one that gives us energy and helps us to sleep better. And ATP, I can't remember what that stands. Do you remember what that stands for?
No, not the scientific name. I just know that that is basically energy. That's what gives us energy is ATP. Yeah.
So if the cells are working better due to NRF2 activation, then it benefits from the NRF1. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, these three products are very impressive to me. And in a little bit, I'm going to tell you a story about what I've gone through and how they've helped me. The next product that can begin to positively biohack our systems is a good probiotic. I have in the past spent a whole lot of money on what I thought were high quality probiotics. They're kept in the cooler section of the natural food store I would go to, or in the freezer section, and I'd bring them home and carefully keep them cool and take them. Spend a lot of money, only to find out later that according to the FDA, there's a high percentage of the culture in those probiotics that's dead. So it wasn't doing me any good. I was spending a lot of money not getting anywhere. But in this particular company that we are representing, they have found a delivery mechanism to get that probiotic into the gut in such a way that it gets through the acids and other bodily fluids and delivers the probiotic into the intestines by as much as 60 to 80%. Normally, when you get a product from the store, it's only about a 6% effectiveness rate. And things like yogurt and all those things don't help that much. Up to a 60% survival rate, they use a method called BioTract, which is a layered mechanism, and it can be kept dry, can be kept warm, doesn't have to be kept cold. I have heard from a reliable source that some of the research is showing that if you take it without food, first thing in the morning, it's as much as 80 to 90% getting into the gut. And as Teresa and I have researched, there is a relationship between the gut and the brain. In fact, the gut's been called the second brain. So this is not just about basic physical health, it's about mental health. It's been known to play a role, the gut has been known to play a role in the development of serotonin. And if you know anything about antidepressants, you know it's a really important part of our mental health. If you don't have serotonin, it's hard to be happy and hard to feel content. So now, before we move on to the fourth one, I'm going to tell you a little story. It's a little over about a year and a half ago. Actually, right now, it's probably over 2 years ago. 1 January of 2018, I developed a skin condition. Just started out as like a little sore on my leg. It began to kind of weep. I thought maybe I'd bumped into something or working out in my garden, but then it showed up on my other leg and it never healed. I put medicine on it, didn't heal, and it started to spread and began to itch violently. Then I began to break out in little bumps all over my body. And each bump, if I touched it, felt like a razor cut. It was extremely painful. It just kept spreading. I kept putting ointment on it. Nothing happened. So I went to a doctor at a particular clinic, and over about 4 months, I saw 4 doctors. Each one examined it. They did a biopsy, which was inconclusive. They put me on Benadryl, steroids, antibiotics. It didn't phase it. The Benadryl helped to take the pain away briefly, but it kept spreading. My back literally looked like raw hamburger. My arms looked like raw hamburger. It was spreading up my neck and my face. The doctors just shrugged their shoulders. They said they had looked at every skin condition disorder in their book. They could not find anything that even resembled it. they were lost. They sent me to an allergy specialist. He did many thousands of dollars worth of tests. He sat me down in his office when the tests were done, and he said, I have, in 25 years, I've never seen anything that even resembles what you have. He says, and I test allergic to two things, neither of which were food. He says, legally, you have to diagnose it as eczema, but he says, I have no idea what it is. Now, he gave me a topical ointment, and a steroidal topical ointment, and it would help to clear it up for 2 or 3 days, but it would come back. And I was invited to a meeting similar to what Teresa and I are going over with you this evening. And I was told by the lady who did the presenting that if I took the NRF2 activator for 6 months, that should give me a really good idea of whether it was going to help or not. So I said, you know, I'll go ahead and try that. But if it doesn't work in 6 months, I'm done. I'm walking away. She said, that's fair. So I started taking it. Within 2 weeks, I noticed things clearing up. Within 4 weeks, it was completely gone. There was no sign of the skin disorder anywhere. No more itching, no more burning, 24 hours a day, literally. Plus, I had some other problems where I had some arthritis in my hips. I literally could not walk across my lawn very many steps without needing help. If I fell down, I would need my wife to help me back up. And I was only 62 years old. And however, after 2 months of taking it, I noticed I didn't need help anymore. I could confidently walk across the lawn without losing my balance. I was having less and less pain. And I also noticed that I kept going to another belt loop size. I was actually losing weight. That was not my goal, but I found out later that can be a benefit. Now, to be fully disclosing, I was taking the NRF2 and NRF1 probiotic, and the next supplement we're going to talk about. It's called the Vitality Stack. I think all of them are working together to help me with that. A probiotic at the very least, so taking a good probiotic probably helped my body to work better and metabolize food. So that's my story. And I've noticed that even since I've been taking it, like the NRF1, I can sleep better. I think more clearly, I have more energy. And that's been very, very consistent since I've been taking this. If you go ahead and go to the next.
And I just want to interject one more thing. With first of all, that is such a fantastic story. It is so amazing, and it just really illustrates how oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, unhealthy gut, how much that can affect our whole demeanor from the inside to the outside. I mean, our skin is like
Yes.
a barometer of our inner health. And I think John's story really strongly illustrates that. But one more thing I want to mention about the ProBio is that our immune system is 70 to 80% of our immune system is actually made in our gut.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I did not know this. And so most of the cells that fight off bacteria and viruses are actually produced in our gut. So if you have, a gut that is not functioning, if your probiotics are unhealthy probiotics, which is very, very common in this day and age with all of the antibiotics that people take, most medications will actually affect your gut microbiome. So it's really important to have good probiotics in your gut. And just like John, I mean, I have to say, I was like mad when I found out that I was spending a ton of money on probiotics and only getting, as you can see from this slide, unless they are coated and protected from stomach acid, only 4% actually gets to the intestine, which is where you use it. Versus with a coating on it, you get 60 to 80%, as John said. If you take it on an empty stomach, you can get a much higher efficacy even than what's in this slide. So do you want me to do the omega, John? Or?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So John's mentioned this Vitality Stack, and there's 4 different components to it. the NRF2, which is reducing oxidative stress, the NRF1, which is helping with energy and sleep, ProBio, which is for gut health, and then the last one is our omega. So omegas is basically just fish oil. And when I first came into this company, my thought was, fish oil, you can buy fish oil. There's not that much difference between this fish oil and any other fish oil that's on the market, right? We all know that fish oil is important. It helps, it's really important for heart health and brain health. It also helps with immunity. Well, I started to do a little research because I'm a nurse and I like to, make sure that everything is evidence-based that I do. And I started to look at the ingredients in our fish oil compared to other fish oils. And I learned that omega-3s are really, really good. And pretty much every fish oil that you find has omega-3s in it. But guess what? A lot of fish oils that you buy on the market also have omega-6s. And omega-6s are not something that we want. They can actually be inflammatory, but a lot of other products use it as a filler. We do not have any omega-6 in our products. We also have something that I have yet to find another fish oil that has omega-7s in it. And omega-7s help with our energy. They can help stabilize blood sugars and help with weight management. Our omega is also rich in EPA and DHA, and it has a little bit of vitamin D3, which is to help with absorption, but also D3 is very important for us. The other thing that's really, really cool about our omega is that it is traceable from boat to bottle. If you put in the number that's on your bottle of omega, they can actually find which boat it came from. And we also are sourcing sustainably in deep oceans outside of Norway, outside of Alaska. So it's a very, very good fish oil. If you've ever had fish burps from taking fish oil, it means that your fish oil was rancid. And you will not find that with our product at all. I've never had anyone say that they had fish burps from our product. It's good stuff.
That's right.
Did you want to say anything else, John, about it?
No, I'm a big believer in fish oil. It also helps with is DHA and I can't remember the other one, but EPA and DHA. DHA is for the brain, EPA is for the heart. I've been a believer in the fish oil for at least 30 years, and I'm really excited to have a good quality of fish oil.
So as we've been talking about this Vitality Stack, as John even said, all of these products work together. Not only, do they work synergistically, but all together, they work on different parts of your body to create an overall health. So what a simple way to improve your health by activating your NRF2 pathway to reduce oxidative stress, activating NRF1 pathway to increase your energy, taking your ProBio to help with your gut health, and then of course, brain, heart, joints are affected by the omega. So it's just a great package. Now, I wish we had more time to talk about some of our other products. We have a great energy drink called Axio that doesn't have any sugar in it. So if you know people that are Monster addicts or Red Bull addicts, that is something that they could switch out that is much healthier for them. We have an amazing weight loss program. Our skincare and hair care are awesome. I love it. I love it. And Pet Tandem for dogs. So before we get into, the business end, I just want to share my story too. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012. And I had to have a double mastectomy, chemo for 6 months. It was horrible. I lost all my hair. I was sick, but I'm a healthy person, so I was sick, but I wasn't like, I didn't have to go to the hospital. I think I stayed pretty healthy even through my chemo treatment, but it was hard on me, and I never want to go through that again, never. And so after I got through it, and here I am today, I mean, it's 7 years later, I started looking and trying to figure out what could I do to prevent a recurrence. My breast cancer does have the highest recurrence rate. It's a triple negative. And I spent, lots of time researching, looking. And as John mentioned earlier, when I started to look at this NRF2 and what it does to upregulate genes, good genes, down-regulate your bad genes. And sure enough, one of the 26 peer-reviewed studies, they actually looked at breast cancer cells, and they found that if breast cancer cells were bathed in NRF2, their growth stopped. So for me, that was all I needed to hear. I was like, okay, I'm a believer. And of course, I've had so many other amazing benefits from taking these products. I mean, I could spend the next hour talking about things that I've experienced, but let's go on. This is just a slide that shows all the different products that we have, and different ways that you can, buy it. But let's talk a little bit about our company, LifeVantage. Our company started in 2003. We were actually selling our product at GNC stores, and we didn't do very well. We averaged about 250 million in revenue annually. 2.5 million annually. And the company was about ready to file bankruptcy when in 2009 they decided to hire a consultant, and the consultant came in and said, you're in the wrong type of marketing. You need to change to direct sales, which is what we moved to. And so we are a network marketing company. The investigative report that was done in 2005 with John Quinones is a pretty cool video that you can watch, that just basically, he came in to disclaim everything that we were saying we were doing, and he wasn't able to do that. So that was pretty exciting. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ, so we're transparent. We can't hide our income. We can't hide how much money we're making, and we are a very solid company. Our stock is actually doing quite well. Even through COVID, it has continued to grow. So our company has also been expanding to different parts of the world. And if you look at this slide, you see all the different countries that we have markets in now. We started in just the USA, and in the last 5 years, we have just really been working on expansion, and we hope to be in over 100 different markets in the future. As John mentioned in the beginning, this is a different world that we live in with the Ubers and Amazon and Airbnb. This is a laptop lifestyle. This is a work from home business. A lot of what you can do with this business is through social media. We have an app that's great. There's great support from your upline, training, regional trainings. It's all on video. It's a very good company to be involved in. Proven system. And I just want to mention this slide. You know, people kind of have a bad taste in their mouth most of the time about network marketing or MLMs. Either they've been burned by one or someone in their family has been. And, you know, that has happened in the past. This is not a pyramid. Network marketing is perfectly legal. And if you look at this slide, you're going to see that this is the trend. Network marketing, and this is by global numbers. Network marketing, it started at 158 billion, this is in billion, in 2011. And look at this nice curve going up of growth. And now in 2019, not now, but last year in 2019, they were saying that they were over 200 billion in revenue. So it's just growing. This is the way the market, this is the way people are buying things more and more. Mm-hmm. I love this slide because this is Peter Drucker's slide on what any business, not just a network marketing business, but what any business experiences. In the early phase, there's a very high percentage of failure. So anytime you're looking at getting into a company, you know, looking at coming in very early is very, very risky because they could have poor management. It might not be the right timing. It might not be a very good product. There's many reasons why companies fail, but very high percentage of companies do fail in these early years. We're past that now. We're about here, and we're at about 250 million in sales annually now. And this asterisk is a very key spot on this slide because this is at a point where branding occurs. And so you think about, say, Kleenex. We all know what Kleenex are, right? But that is the brand name. But branding occurs when any company hits about 650 million in revenue. We're not there yet. Even though you may have heard of LifeVantage and Protandim, most people in the world have not. And so we are at that stage where we are going to experience rapid growth. 80% growth is going to happen once we hit this branding phase. And then once a company gets past branding, it's behind our little pictures, but you hit stabilization. And once a company is stable, they're still going to have some growth, but it's only going to be at about 2 to 4%. So like Avon, Pampered Chef, you know, those companies, they've been around a while. They're very stable. They've gone through this 80% growth already. We're just hitting it. So it's very, very exciting when you think about it. And this is just such a great opportunity to get into a company that's going to go through this rapid growth. So if you're watching this video and you're just thinking, oh my gosh, I want to get in this, you know, talk to whoever sent you this video and they can explain. As I mentioned earlier, since we are publicly traded on the NASDAQ, we have to post our earnings. And so this kind of shows you from a distributor all the way up to a Master Pro 10, what monthly average incomes are. And so it's very possible to make some serious cash doing this business, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It is something that takes time and it takes work. This is called network marketing for a reason, not net wish marketing. So you can make good money, but it does take a little bit of work and time. But if you look at this slide, how much time? You know, if you look at a traditional business where you go to work every day, you're working for 40 to 50 years of your life, right? And then you get to retire. Hopefully you get to retire for a few years. With LifeVantage, you get to decide, do you want to just go all in and work this hard for 3 to 5 years? Or want to take a little more time, maybe 10 years, but it's never 40 to 50 years. And you can move up the ranks. And then once you have achieved a certain level, then you know your income is continuing. I mean, this residual income idea, which is something that I'm not going to get into, but if you want to learn about that, you know, talk to the person that invited you to watch this video. The most important thing, I think, message that I want you to get to is that, you know, as we went through COVID and so many people who thought they had a very stable job all of a sudden weren't working. I mean, even me as a nurse, I work in the OB department, and I was getting laid off a lot because, not laid off, but low census a lot because there just wasn't, we weren't having our outpatient visits come in. We didn't have the work. And I realized it was a good thing that I had this income to help to keep me going through COVID. So I think it's just so smart to think about having a home-based business that you can continue to work no matter what happens around us. John, did you want to add anything to that?
No, well, it's absolutely 100% true. Never depend on a single income. I've worked a lot of different work at home business before, but what I like about this is you're a team. You're working with people who are all working in your best interest. They're helping you. You're not doing it alone. So many of the business I've done before, I was doing it on my own. And if I wasn't sitting in the chair or talking to somebody, I wasn't making any money. But in this business, I have people who have signed up underneath me who are out working. Teresa's always available, and we're all working together. And then I get this check every month. And with the proper amount of work and focus, that check will only continue to increase. Plus, I'm enjoying it. I've actually been surprised at how much I enjoy working with people and taking the product. So I think it's very important. And everybody needs a second or third income.
Absolutely. So like I said, you know, if whoever sent you this video, please connect with them. And if you have questions, they will be able to answer your questions. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will sign off. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.